Hello, welcome to this edition of the Halcyon Show. My name's Lorne Risley, host of the show. How you doing? What do you want to talk about? So, as some of you may know, I cover battle rappers as part of my interview series, and one of the things that comes up quite a lot in terms of my coverage is how I'm perceived and what my role is within the space. As I'm not a battler, I'm not a musician, I'm not an artist. The closest thing I am, at least in real terms, is not a journalist, but someone that categorizes and approaches guys to. My remit is to highlight and promote people ultimately. As part of my interview series, people I want to showcase are the kinds of people who I think deserve more emphasis being put on the work that they do. So, perhaps this week was the closest example I got of what it's like when my remit, or when what I'm trying to do becomes skewed with me personally, what I think is acceptable or what I think should be the discourse and things. And this is a thing about me that you need to understand. I am very opinionated and I do have very strong principles. And in a day and age where principles are not admonished and they're not really valued in any way, shape, or form as much as they are um, stumbling blocks to success because they prohibit you from doing things that your contemporaries or colleagues might, I still feel it's important to stand behind those principles and to show integrity and to show those principles in moments where you might be tempted to do otherwise. This week was kind of that, and I'm going to give a rough timeline of what happened because I just want to get that part out of the way to get to the point of why I'm talking to you. So, Conor McGregor and a member of the battle rap community started going backwards and forwards in what seemed to be like a pseudo battle rap contest of sorts. It turned nasty or turned acrimonious, and now kind of the buzz around that has fizzled out. About 2 days before it did, I kind of commented that I'm out of this, and the idea being that people took that as me being out of battle rap as a whole. When what I meant, and I clarified this in a tweet to another user that seems to have been omitted by certain people that were observing the situation, is that I was done covering Conor McGregor because Conor McGregor is an individual within social media and in the wider world of celebrity whom I find reprehensible to say the least. And I've explained why on social media. Again, I want to kind of keep this to the bullet points. Thereafter, I noticed that one of the subjects of an interview that I've been pursuing for 2 years decided to unfollow me, and when I commented on the fact that that was kind of an indicator that he didn't want to do the interview or that it wasn't going to happen, he kind of pointed to that as his reason. Now, after that, it escalated because a lot of people were jumping in and trying to validate the decision, and it ultimately culminated in yesterday, whereby I kind of made the decision that I wanted to take a step back from things because, again, that's going against the point of what I'm doing here. My point is to highlight people who I believe deserve to be highlighted and to promote people that I believe are there to be promoted, not to become a spectacle or a highlight in of myself. I'm not here necessarily to become the focal point of anything. I'm utilizing my skills and my platform in order to try and showcase people in a way that they wouldn't have been otherwise. Battle rappers specifically, because battle rappers tend to be showcased in only one of a couple of ways, which is within the realm of the battle, in these very short clips that we see, or in somewhat juvenile and misrepresented ways, and I don't appreciate that. I think battle rappers are performers and artists that deserve to be showcased like any other genre. However, the reason for this video isn't to chastise anyone involved. The reason for this video is ultimately to kind of acknowledge where I may have fallen short and to kind of assure you, the audience, as to what the point of the channel still is. And really to kind of reaffirm something, which is that I'm still a fan of battle rap. I'm always going to be a fan of battle rap. And I'm still going to cover battle rap. And I'm going to continue to cover battle rap. Specifically, the people within it. The people who I believe comprise a genre of entertainment that is second to none in terms of its entertainment value, its live value. The community that comprises its battlers are exceptionally talented and creative people. And many of them are incredibly nice. Just some of the kindest, nicest motherfuckers you'll ever meet. I also wanted to take this opportunity to kind of extend an apology to anyone who saw that exchange. I've personally apologised to a few people behind the scenes because I felt it was appropriate to do so. Some of them were quite candid in their response by saying, "You don't owe me an apology, but it's appreciated." There have been a couple who have taken issue with what I did, and I want to say that I appreciate and respect their stance on it, and it disappoints me, but ultimately, again, I'm not in this to necessarily make everybody happy. I have to do and I have to say what I believe is right in these situations. And the big thing I wanted to kind of bring back to this is that I apologise for the exchange, but I don't apologise for the provocation behind it, because I really do truly believe that this is a great example of another one of those social media dog piles that sometimes happens when there's a misunderstanding, and there's no humility in the space, not just within battle rap, but in social media as a whole, to walk back things, maybe acknowledge when you've made a mistake, to acknowledge when things have gone too far and feelings have been hurt. In my case, I just took issue with the fact that after 2 years of pursuing an interview, which is important to me, and I was given to understand that it was going to happen, it was taken away because of a misunderstanding, and that misunderstanding could have been avoided by a simple common courtesy. That's what it boils down to me, and that's where the offence comes from my part. Now, problem with that is I can't enforce my will and whims on the world, and it's not my place to tell anyone what they should and shouldn't do in a situation based on my own principles. But I can just say that it speaks volumes that the people that were in defense of the situation as it pertains to me acting inappropriately, so in the sense of you were out of order, Lorne. Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that assessment, and I would go so far as to say that the colouring of your opinion speaks volumes about where you stand in the scheme of things. And I would just ask, if the role was reversed and the courtesy was meant to be extended to you, how would you feel? Because that's the ultimate barometer of whether a point should stand or not. Is who makes it is irrelevant. It's the point that's relevant. That's interesting. Sorry, my screen went black for a second there. Maybe I'm being hacked. Who knows? Maybe I'm saying something. Oh, who knows? But the point is, I'm making that I shouldn't necessarily take this to heart, but I do. And I shouldn't necessarily let it upset me, but it does. And I should also, and this is where it comes back of owning the responsibility for my part of the situation, I should remember what it is that I'm supposed to be doing, which isn't necessarily getting involved. What should have happened is, because I don't think I'm wrong for telling you all, my audience, that something isn't going to happen when I promised it to you. If I promised you something and I failed to deliver on it, that's my fault. And you deserve to know, because I've had people constantly over the last couple of weeks ask me, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? I'm excited for it. When's it going to happen? If it's not going to happen, what am I supposed to do? Continue to lie? To continue to tell people something's going to happen with the hope that it's going to be coming? I don't think anyone would respect me if I did that. And if the person whom it concerns is not happy with that fact, that common courtesy is where perhaps it could have been extended privately, because then it would have been a case of maybe just, okay, fair enough. I've never taken no for an answer until no's the answer, people. One of the common questions I get about my interview series, by the way, is how do I get the interviews to begin with? The number one thing is persistence. You just keep asking. You keep finding new avenues to try and get a hold of someone, because sometimes they just don't see your messages, or sometimes they just don't get the messages. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they try to ignore you. At which point, one of the common criticisms of the last couple of days is that I'm a beg. It's a common battle rap phrase in the sense of you're pandering to try and get something that you want, or you're trying to it's a derogatory term of sorts. It's, you're a beg. You're begging. You're being pitiful in your attempts to try and gain something. To those of you who call me a beg, I would just ask you a question: how do you get anything that you want that you can't get in the moment? You have to be persistent. You can't just take the first denial as because that was a common thing as well. It was like the interview that I was trying to get. It was a case of, well, it's been 2 years. Maybe you should just take that as the hint. I would humbly submit to you that there are people that I've pursued for a year and a half that eventually did interview, because there's never a right time. And I would also point out that I was encouraged to pursue that interview, not by anyone that I'll name, but there were people that were saying you should continue to pursue it. The person in question is a reclusive individual and difficult to get a hold of. You've got to catch them at the right moment. So keep trying. That doesn't sound like beggy behaviour to me, especially considering that I dropped the issue several times, privately and publicly. Just sort of said, I guess that's that. And the one time where I dropped it by name, I'm out of order because it's a bad look. Yeah, it is a bad look, because the wrong course of action was pursued. Again, I like how the situation has devolved because of my inability to retain a certain professional demeanour. But the provocation and the reasoning behind it was equally as impetuous and childish. And so, while disappointing, this exchange, what I'm more disappointed about is the fact that you all saw it, and that it might colour your opinion of my coverage. So again, part of it is to apologise for that, because irrespective of whether or not I'm in the right or in the wrong, the look is what is important. And the reasoning why I'm even here in the first place is important. So I have to come back to that. And I'm here because I want to showcase good people. I want to showcase talented people. I want to get to the nitty gritty of why they do what they do and how they do what they do. And I want to do it in a way that I don't think anyone else does. And I want to do it in a way that hopefully is entertaining, informative, most of all different. I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. I want to do it in a way that's unique to me. And so if I'm called weird, or if I'm called awkward or beggy, but as a result, so be it. So be it. That's fine. That's your assessment of me. It's not for you. Cool. I appreciate you checking it out nonetheless. And I appreciate the fact that, if nothing else, I've given you more of an inclination towards what you might like to begin with. And maybe you didn't like me, or maybe you didn't like how I covered it, but maybe you like the person that I covered. Maybe you'd never heard of them before. Maybe you'd never seen them before. Maybe you didn't know what they did. Maybe you're not even familiar with the genre that they represent. But now you've got some basis. You've got something that you can check out. So the common battle rap phrase I'm led to believe is I'm outside, meaning that you're in the game, or you're participating. For those people who waved me goodbye as far as my coverage for battle rap is concerned, I ain't going anywhere, bitch. I'm here. And I'm going to cover battle rap because it's a genre I'm very, very fond of by this point. And a genre that's given me a lot. And a genre that doesn't need me. And I don't need it. But that doesn't mean that we can't have fun. And that we can't still have an amazing time showcasing some of the most talented people that the UK and beyond has to offer. And it doesn't mean that we can't disagree from time to time. It doesn't mean we can't fuck up and make mistakes from time to time. The biggest and most important thing is that we reconcile and we understand where we're both coming from, and we understand that maybe when we make mistakes, that forgiveness is the best part. So this is what I'm going to say as well, is that even though I felt slighted by some of the things that were said, some of them were a little bit, I forgive it. Because I understand that to the culture that I'm representing in this moment, I'm somewhat of an oddball. I don't do things in the traditional way, and that's going to take time for people to get to grips with. Okay, that's cool. Just like I'm not used to the community and some of the things that go on within the community, I'm not going to change anything. So I have to roll with the punches, and I have to accept that this is the soup I'm swimming in if I want to cover battle rap. So I will. And so to you, the audience, this is my commitment. This is my firm promise to you that this is an episode I'm embarrassed by. And I apologise to every single person who saw it, was involved, was tagged, replied. It's an embarrassing situation that was a giant waste of everyone's time and energy, considering that all I ever wanted to do was get an interview with someone that I thought was important and I thought I'd do a good job with, that now I'm not going to get, probably. But you never know, because times change. Feelings heal, tempers cool. But I'm outside, baby, and I'm always going to be outside. There'll be more battle rap coverage. There'll be more battle rap interviews, rest assured. There'll be more interviews in general. There'll be more content in general. There's a couple of things in the fire right now that are not battle rap or even interview related that I'm kind of excited by, but they're just taking time because private, personal life and work life and all the rest of that shit is bleh. But it is what it is. 2023, am I right? So listen, folks, I appreciate you joining me for this edition. I appreciate those of you who have drawn a line in the sand as far as me as a fixture of battle rap. If you've lost respect for me, if you've just kind of decided I'm not your cup of tea. But I appreciate you checking me out anyway. And I appreciate you taking the time to try and at least hear my side of the story as far as this particular exchange and what my views on it are, because, hell, I wanted to talk about it. And for those of you who are baffled about what the fuck I'm talking about, listen, let's just say that it's something I've learned from in terms of the engagement aspect of what I do. I'm not a social media expert, neither am I a particularly social person. I deal with people one-on-one far better than I deal with groups of people. As a matter of fact, my worst nightmare is a group of people that I have to interact with. So, talking to you one-on-one, I can handle. And talking to you one-on-one gives me a lot of joy. So, with that in mind, thank you very much for watching this edition of the Halcyon Show. If you are not inclined to like, share, and subscribe, I do not blame you. But if you would be so inclined, we're still on the road to 500 subscribers. I sincerely hope you're taking care of yourselves as we enter the festive period, as I know it's quite a hard time for certain people. And I would like to say that if nothing else, if I don't get another video out live before the end of the year, because I have three more interviews that I just need to render and upload. One with Reverse, one with Marlow, and another one with a gentleman by the name of Crow, which should all be dropping shortly because I've got the green flag on 2 of them. If I don't have a chance to talk to you live again before the end of the year, I know 2023 has been hard for everybody. There's been highs and lows, and it seems like things are just getting harder and harder. And this week's been hard for a variety of reasons for me, personally, professionally, and now with this. But we're still here. And with the love and the support of those around us, and the occasional win here or there, who knows? Maybe this time next year we'll be millionaires. But we'll see. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much for watching this edition of the Halcyon Show. I sincerely hope you're taking care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next episode.